Okay, guys. Hey, how you doing? How's everybody doing? Are you ready for Halloween? This is the fourth time I've recorded this video, and it's not for anything then other. I keep I miss names and I say the wrong name, and the dog came in here. Forgive me. Hey, friends for Fox, how are y'all doing today? Is everybody getting ready for Halloween? Have you decorated your house? Do you do that kind of thing? Do you decorate your house? Do you have trick-or-treaters? What is your favorite outfit? Things like that. I'm Cassie. We're in Cassie's Corner again for the third time today. But I wanted to give you this list because we are at the last weekend before Halloween. Halloween is next Friday. So I figured I'd give you a hint, or just give you like movies that maybe you'd want to watch in the meantime. That kind of thing. Curl up on the couch next to your loved ones and curl up in a blanket and pray to goodness you don't hear any strange noises. I have never been, I don't have the heart for horror films. Horror films are just not my friend. I actually, when I was pregnant, I can't name the movie because it's such a sissy, it's not even scary like that. It was scary to me. But I can't mention it, but it was a scary movie that I was watching, and I happened to go in labor a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, too early. I had to be in the hospital for 2 weeks. I was not happy. Not happy at all. I was like, no more scary movies, not doing it. Anyway, we have at number 1 by William Peter Blatty, The Exorcist, a 1973 supernatural horror film. I did see bits and pieces of that in 1973. I was very young, so I've had to either rent the tape when we all rented the tape in the late 90s, that kind of thing, in the 90s or whatever, or I had to watch it on a made-for-TV show, that kind of thing. But I remember, again, I've never watched any of these movies in the entirety because I cannot do horror films. I just don't have that heart. For number 2, we have The Shining. That was 1988. It starred Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. I remember Shelley Duvall coming out a couple of years ago saying that was the reason that she made no more films, was because The Shining, kind of messed with her a little bit. I understand that. I couldn't imagine having to do a horror film. It was written by Stanley Kubrick and co-written by Diane Johnson. At number 3, we have Halloween, and it is titles such as John Carpenter's Halloween, and I know that because when I looked it up, I just put the word Halloween on the search bar. You know what it did? It come up to give me Halloween tricks and tips, and then I had to go in and look up the movie Halloween, and it come up John Craven's Halloween, and that's from 1978. That has starred Jamie Lee Curtis. Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street hits in at number 4. That starred a very, very, very young Johnny Depp in the beginning of his career, and Robert Englund as the bad guy. I can't think of his name. Was it Jason? I don't know. Freddy, 1984. In 1985, we have Alien, and that was 1979. By Ridley Scott, and it starred Tom Skerritt and Sigourney Weaver, and it, especially if you're closing your eyes and you hear all that mushy, gushy, squishy sounds, not a fun movie, scary movie. Again, I've only seen bits and pieces. Number 6, we have Psycho, and this is 1960 American horror film by Alfred Hitchcock, and it's had Anthony Perkins and Janet Leigh, which is actually Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. So they are screen queens together. Number 7, we have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was 1974 film by Tobe Hooper and Kim Hinkle. Yeah. I don't know. It didn't say any, but no stars that I know of that starred in it that I knew, so I'm not going to repeat any of them. At number 8, we have the 1991 film Silence of the Lambs, and that was directed by Jonathan Demme, and it had Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins. I do remember bits and pieces of that a little bit more than I remember the others. I was in my 20s when that came out, So I probably didn't watch it in its full entirety. So it'd probably do me good to go back and understand why it's so scary. Don't know. In number 9, we have The Thing. This was a 1982 John Carpenter film, and it starred Kurt Russell and Wilford Brimley. And at number 10, we have Scream. This is a 1996 film, a slasher film by Wes Craven, written by Ken Williams. It had David Arquette, it had Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, it had Drew Barrymore, and it had Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard. So, and that was, I think she started Friends like 2 years before that. So this was 1996. She started Friends started in 1994, but before that she was like in some Jim Carrey's movie, Ace Ventura, that kind of thing. So she was in like sporadic movies, and then she got into Friends and hit it real big. But I didn't realize that Scream was after that. Maybe I did. Anyway, there's just scary movies for you to watch. Maybe you can get into a little bit more scarier than that. I don't know. Maybe you want to watch a more modern Conjuring or something like that if you want to get in the mood. I don't know. I don't do scary movies. I don't know. Just get on that couch and drink your coffee or your hot cocoa and relax and sit there with your loved ones and watch the scary movies. What's your favorite Halloween candy? I did a video a couple of days ago about Halloween candy. I don't know. I think I like Reese's peanut butter cups. I think that's my favorite. And M&M's. I have a jar. I constantly keep a jar of M&M's somewhere in this house, because somewhere along the line, there's only 3 of us here, but somebody's going to end up wanting some chocolate. So we all just reach in and get like a thing of M&M's, and they're okay. I know I move too much, and it's not really impressive like when you're on film, and I don't mean to. I'm sorry. I don't know how to glue myself still. I need to wrap myself up. I'm sorry. Is there any tradition that anybody does for Halloween? We celebrated Halloween, but it wasn't like it is now. I live here in Atlanta, and it's like we start preparing for Halloween. It seems like the minute that maybe Memorial Day is over, and I don't remember it being like that down south where I'm from. And of course, I was a kid, and I didn't know how to. I don't know. I just didn't plan that way, but it just seems like we're planning earlier in the year for certain things like that. We don't decorate around the house. We live out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody ever comes here. We've had like 5, and I've said this before, 5 trick-or-treaters in the last 15, 20 years that we've been here. And so nobody ever comes here, and sometimes if we had, Robin usually does the outside area, like for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, that kind of thing, but she didn't do it this year. She had just gotten a job. I'm proud of her, but I miss her decorating. And I don't think she's kind of in the mood either, but usually she'll decorate the porch, or she'll decorate the mailbox. She had the mailbox all wrapped up last year. I thought the mailman was going to have a fit. That kind of thing, but we don't do a whole lot. We don't have any traditions anywhere. I do know that when I grew up, my mom would check our candy. We couldn't even touch any of the candy before we got home, because she was too busy checking it to make sure no needles or razors. And yeah, we were threatened like that as kids. You know, that kind of thing happened. There are some sick people in this world. I am not so delusional and naive not to know that. One of my comments was that I had a very sweet nature about me, but I have a tough exterior also. I've been through some things. I have been through some things. That's the song, isn't it? I have been through some... No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm not all sweet, and I try to be sweet. I try to be really, really a good person, but things hit you wrong. How are you going to spend your Halloween? Are there traditions? Do people go out of town? Is it the same thing? You just stand there by the door and wait for it? I guess if you have younger children, that would be fun still, but not for me. I'm over all that. All my children love Halloween. They love horror movies. I can't stand them. Y'all have the best day. Please find something to be grateful for. I promise not to in time not have as many videos taped. I have to take advantage of the next couple of days. Not going to mention why, but I just have to take advantage of them. And I do want y'all to find something to be grateful for, find something to live for. You are worthy. You are worthy. And you know what? The best thing about having to say that every day or in every single one of my videos is that I'm listening to myself say it so I can also believe it. And that is probably where I need to start, is to know that I myself am very worthy. But if I tell people, they'll understand it too. So we're doing therapy here, back and forth. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.